There are 7 female archetypes, each embodying different qualities, strengths, and weaknesses. It is important to know which archetype is yours, to navigate this world better and to know yourself deeper. By the end of this video, you will know for sure which archetype is yours. By the way, I'm Alona, life coach, TEDx speaker, author of this female empowering blog. Every week we are talking about different aspects of self-development or relationship tips for women. So subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. You want to be a housewife? Huntress will not have it. The most rare and the most underestimated type of all. These women are often portrayed as villains in the media. Before we begin, I have to remind you that archetype is not your personality set in stone. You can embody quality of few archetypes. You can even change an archetype over the course of your life. But there is always that one archetype which you can truly identify with. By the way, I have prepared a personality test for you, which you can take. It's in the description to this video to know which archetype is yours for sure. So let's dive into it. We will start with 4 archetypes which are often attributed to younger girls before they entered a romantic relationship with their partner. And the first one is the maiden. As the name suggests, it's the young girl under the care of her parents or mother. This is a sheltered girl. And as such, she embodies naivety, curiosity for life, excitement for life. She's kinda ready and waiting for this life to happen to her. This is an inexperienced girl who doesn't know much about this life and the reality yet. Maidens are highly attractive to opposite gender because they have this thirst for life. They are so youthful. They have this light, attractive energy of curiosity, of liveliness, of excitement. But because they are sheltered from life, they haven't experienced much yet, they can be irresponsible and kind of like victims to circumstances. They are not ready to take care of themselves. And if something happens, they will turn to other people in their life to help them, to assist them, because they might feel like they're powerless. They are not ready to handle the situation. The main strength of this archetype is her wonderful curiosity and thirst for life. And if you're a maiden, I hope you preserve it. It's a wonderful quality that will keep you alive and youthful and will keep your life exciting and the life of everyone around you exciting as well. The main weakness is that they might be responsible and they might be perceived as victims and they need other people to help them. Examples of this archetype. The first one will come from Bridgerton's. Yes, that's why I'm dressed like this. Daphne. Daphne in the beginning of season 1, if you remember, before she enters society and presents herself to the queen, she is this little naive girl with her sexuality unawakened. She doesn't know about life. She's just excited for it to begin. She's ready to step into the light and start her own life, to present herself to this world. Later over the course of the season, when she enters a romantic relationship with Simon, she changes, she matures, she becomes a little different. Another perfect example of this archetype is Kimberly from My Best Friend's Wedding, the character of Cameron Diaz. Kimberly is a 20-year-old girl who is about to marry a man who is 7 years older, and he brings this woman who is his best friend for their wedding. Because she is so pure and naive, she can't feel the danger. She is so inexperienced. She's also ready to throw everything and dedicate her life to her partner because she is taken over by the romance of their relationship. Another bright example of maiden archetype is Barbie from the recent movie with Margot Robbie. Barbie was sheltered by her magic Barbie world. She never knew that there is sadness, there are problems, that the reality is different. She only knew pleasure and excitement and joy. And when she stepped out of that world, into reality, she has discovered that the life is different and not everybody is waiting for her with open arms. Not everybody is as pure and excited as she is. She had to learn the real world the hard way. And this is the thing with the maiden archetype. At some point in their lives, something will happen, as it always does, because life always throws something at us, and they will have to learn that the reality is different. They will have to learn to be confident, to take care of themselves. So the main area of improvement for the maiden is to become more responsible, more assertive, more confident, to learn to take care of her own self before she has to learn it the hard way. Our second female archetype is the Huntress. The Huntress is a complete opposite of the Maiden. If the Maiden is a young, naive, excited girl who is ready to step up into the light, the Huntress is independent, self-assured, confident woman. Huntress is not interested in building a relationship. She values her independence above all. Huntress will always be very passionate about something that she's ready to fight for. This archetype is the archetype of a true feminist. She's kinda opposed to the male world. She competes with men. She wants to be better than them. Huntress is very, very competitive. She is often very protective towards other women. She protects their interests with a passion. Huntress can be really aggressive in protecting what she believes in. Often she doesn't see any shades of gray. Everything is black and white for her. For example, she believes that women have to be the same. They have to go to work, they have to build a career, they have to succeed in the male world. You want to be a housewife? Huntress will not have it. The main strength of this archetype is that she's very independent, confident, and she can achieve wonderful things. She's very goal-oriented. And the main weakness is she can be perceived as aggressive. And she is prone to anger as well, because that's how passionate she is. Also, it's harder for them to build romantic relationships. She will have avoidant attachment style, which means she values her freedom more than the relationship. For example, if she becomes involved with somebody, she might distance herself the moment it gets too serious. So the area of improvement for the Huntress, if they want to build a relationship at some point, they have to open up a little bit more. They have to recognize that there are shades of gray. They have to become less stubborn. Examples from our favorite Bridgertons. Example is Kate Sharma. This woman is responsible for her family. Many times during the season she says, I'm not interested in the romantic relationship. I'm going to be independent. I'm going to have my own life and make my own living. And when she falls in love with Anthony, it's hard for her to accept it because she doesn't want to give up her independence. Also, you may notice that she is interested in all the male hobbies. She is riding horses, she is interested in the races, she's a good shooter, and she is very, very competitive, like a true Huntress. Another example is the Wonder Woman. Perfect example of the Huntress archetype. A woman who protects others, who fights for what she believes in. And an example from a recent movie is Zendaya's character from the Dune. This is also a Huntress. She's as good a fighter as any man in her tribe. Archetype number 3. The Sage, the archetype of a very wise, very intellectual and smart woman. As a girl, this woman was often somewhere studying. She has this thirst for knowledge. They are often seen as good children. It seems like she always knows how to do everything the right way. She's very good at following the rules and doing exactly what is expected from her. Also, sages are often seen as the daddy's girls. At some point in their life, she was influenced by the male energy. And as a grown-up woman, she will love male world. While the Huntress is kinda opposed to the male world, the sage wants to be among them. She thrives in the male world. She wants to be just like them. She values traditionally male qualities. She's very disciplined. She is very reliable. She is goal-oriented. Her main strength is that she can achieve wonderful things. She thrives in corporate environments. She can be a wonderful attorney. She can thrive in politics. This woman is always seen in a classic suit, maybe with minimal makeup, rushing somewhere, because the work is the main thing in her life. She's focused on what she's working on. Her main weakness is that she is very demanding. She can forget to take care of her own self. If you have a manager who is the sage, she will demand from you to come to work exactly on time and never leave at the end of the work day. She will want the work to be done, irrespective of how you feel. She will not care. She will not be empathetic. And this is another weakness of hers. These women often perceived as cold, as lacking empathy. Examples from Bridgertons. My example is Lady Danbury. She is the wise woman who orchestrates the whole social relationship around herself. At some point in her life, she could get married after her first husband died, but she chose not to because she wanted to be independent, successful, equal to men around her. Another example is Hermione in the Harry Potter. Smart little girl who is as good, better than the boys around her. Without her, Harry and Ron would really not survive because she is the wealth of knowledge. She knows literally everything. And my third example is Lynette from the Desperate Housewives. If you've seen the series, you know that this woman has 4 kids. You might think that this is the mother's archetype, but no, not really, because she wants to go back to her corporate career. She doesn't like the life of a housewife. And if you know her story, you know that she was a very successful businesswoman at some point. She would wear the classic suit, she will go to work every day, and she really thrives and she really enjoys building her own career. She is a true sage. Our 4th archetype is mystique, the most rare and the most underestimated type of all. This is a highly introverted woman. They are often overlooked by others because they are reserved, quiet, and they enjoy spending time at home in their own space. Their attention is always directed inward. The inner peace is what they value most. Corporate life, hustle culture, and the mystique archetype are not compatible. She's not interested in going out there and achieving things like Huntress or like Sage. She is interested in nurturing her inner peace. She is very imaginative and creative, and she needs this space to enjoy her creativity, to create things in peace. Her main strength is that she's highly intuitive, creative, and imaginative, and also that she can read others very well. She understands other people very quickly because she's very observant. She kind of lives outside of the world. She observes everything that's going on. She's not participating in it, and that's why she understands people really well. Her main weakness is that she might escape in this imaginary world and neglect reality. Also, she might isolate herself from others too much. Mystic women need to be reminded that social connections are also important. We all need relationships, support, and love, and they need to open up a little bit more and let others come into their inner world. A wonderful example of a mystique is Penelope Featherington, the wallflower, as Eloise is calling her. She's always observing others, not participating in the social life. She spends a lot of time at home, reading books, and looking at the world through her window.
You will always be here to take care of me.
A true mystique indeed. That's why she's such good of a gossiper, because she's very observant. She understands other people. Another example is Belle from Beauty and the Beast, the girl who is lost in the world of her books, who enjoys spending hours in the library. And another example is the girl with the same name, Bella Swan, the main character in the Twilight Saga. She is perceived as a bit awkward, quiet. She is reserved, she is different, and she is mysterious as well. That does make her attractive to others. You never know what she's thinking about. Women need to let the mystique archetype into their lives, even if it's not your primary archetype, to cultivate your inner wisdom, your intuition, to be able to rely on yourself and nurture your own inner peace and inner world. Our next 3 archetypes women often develop when they enter a relationship with a partner. However, some girls are from childhood one of these archetypes. And the first one is the mother, the nurturer, the woman whose main interest and main drive is to take care of others. She will always be the caretaker. Even if this woman doesn't have any kids, she will take care of her pet, of her husband, of her friends. She will be famous in her friend circle as the one who takes care of everybody. She will make sure you reach home safely if you had a little too much to drink at a party. Mothers are very approachable, very likable. It's easy to open up to them because they're so empathetic. They will listen to you. They will be always ready to help you with an advice or otherwise. This is the woman to who you will go if something happened in your life. Because she is so oriented towards others, she might forget about her own needs. It's hard for her to say no, even if it's harmful to her. The main strength of the mother's archetype is that she is a natural caretaker. She is wonderful with people. She has a very warm and empathetic personality. And her main weakness is as sad, it's hard for her to take care of her own self. And also, because she is a caretaker and she might guess your needs before you announce them, she expects that everybody else shall guess her needs as well, and that makes her at times passive-aggressive. She can't tell you exactly and directly what she wants. She expects you to know. So mothers needs to work on opening up a little bit more and letting other people know what they want and need. Examples: Violet Bridgerton, the mother of 8 children, the one who is always focused and cares only about her children's needs, makes sure that everybody marries well. Another perfect example of mother's archetype is Monica in Friends, who takes care of her friends. As she says in the series, she is always the hostess.
It's ready. Come on.
What's ready?
Just come.
Did you work for 2 days straight?
Pretty much. I am always the hostess.
She enjoys that everybody comes to her flat and she cooks for everybody and she takes care of all of them. Even though it's hard work, she has to put a lot of efforts. That's what she enjoys to do because that's her thing. Another example is Brie Van de Kamp from Desperate Housewives, a woman who takes care of her children, of her husband, and of all of her friends. The one who makes the nest, as she said about herself. Our next archetype is the queen. And in this context, it's not the queen who rules in her own right. This is the queen next to a king. And this woman sees her life purpose and life fulfillment in a marriage. She is wonderful behind her husband. She creates a wonderful support system for him and she is very, very loyal to him. These women, if they are queens from the very childhood, might find little joy in their unmarried life because marriage is where they see the fulfillment. They are very supportive, very loyal, very reliable for their husbands. They might even forgive them when they don't deserve it because they will always stand by them. The queen is the woman who thrives in social environment because she creates this space, the wonderful house, wonderful meals, wonderful social image for her family. Unlike the mother who is concentrated on taking care of others, of her children, of her husband, doesn't matter, the queen is oriented on building the partnership with her husband and the social connections in her life. Her main strength is that she is a wonderful partner for an alpha male. She is the true queen next to a king, and she will attract a great alpha high-value partner. Her main weakness is that she doesn't see herself outside of the marriage, and queens, women, need to find fulfillment somewhere else besides marriage to remain interesting for her partner and for herself, of course. Examples. Guess who? Queen Charlotte from Bridgerton, who very quickly after her marriage becomes the real queen that her husband needs her to be. And her husband, King George, is a sick man. But nonetheless, she sticks by him and basically rules for him to make sure his reign is safe. At some point, her servant tells her that she wasn't such a good mother to her children because she wasn't focused on them. She's always focused on her husband. This is a true quality, true sign of the queen archetype. The husband is the main person. Another example is Queen Gorgo from the 300 Spartans, who rules in absence of her husband, King Leonidas, when he goes to fight. She even sacrifices herself at some point because he needs it. Serena from Handmaid's Tale, another example of the queen archetype, the woman who basically built the world for her man to be the king in that world and is ready to stand behind him even though she's now not equal to him. Even though he doesn't deserve her forgiveness and her loyalty, he abuses and betrays her again and again, she still stands by them till the very end. And our last archetype is the lover, last but not least, because it's the most attractive and desirable archetype of all. These are women who attract a lot of attention because they're very connected with their own sensuality. And not only in the context of the relationships. She has this wonderful quality of savoring, enjoying the life, and being present every moment. She has this thirst for life, for pleasure, for enjoyment. The lover archetype woman is very independent. She is not very much interested in a marriage, like the queen, for example. What she is interested in is the passion, the love. She might even leave a relationship if the passion cools down and find another partner to experience these bright emotions again and again. She enjoys good food. She enjoys sun touching her skin. She has this magnetic, delicious energy of pleasure and enjoying herself. Her main strength is that she's very attractive and she is present every moment. She enjoys this life. And her main weakness is that she is often the date not marry kind of girl, meaning that men fall in love with her, yes, but they marry the other women, for example, the queen archetype. Because even though it's exciting to be with her, she does not embody the qualities that they seek in a wife. If the lover woman wants to build a long-term relationship at some point in her life, she needs to embody some other qualities. She needs to become more serious towards her relationships. Another her weakness is that since she lives in the moment, she might not consider consequences very well, and she needs to learn to think about the future a little bit more. Examples. The first example is Marilyn Monroe. Each and every of her roles is the lover archetype. Even in life, she was the lover archetype. Highly attractive, highly sensual woman who couldn't maintain her marriages very well. Example from Bridgerton is Anthony's lover from the first season, that opera singer girl who attracts the attention of all the men in the society. But of course, he leaves her at some point because she's not the partner for him. She's not the woman that he can marry. Another example is Mrs. Robinson from 50 Shades of Grey, that elder woman who seduced Mr. Grey and who Anastasia hates. She is seen as this highly sexual predator woman. And this is the problem with the lover's archetype, because it is attractive for men to be sensual and sexual women, but also it's kind of not allowed for a woman to openly be sensual and be connected with her sexuality. These women are often portrayed as villains in the media, and this is not very fair. We all need to connect with the lover's archetype, to have access to this enjoyment, to our sensuality, to enjoy our own bodies and this life. I hope you enjoyed today's video and you've already identified which archetype is yours. And share it in the comments. We are all very curious to know. I will share mine in the comments as well. And also I hope that you've already taken the quiz and checked your opinion if it's right or not. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in my next videos. Bye bye.